Tim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 7 of the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing. It is a new calendar year, and it's a new track for the series. We head to Huset Speedway in Brandon, South Dakota, for the first race of the 2025 calendar year and the 7th in the World of Outlaws Pro Series for 2024-2025. My name is Tim Terry. We have Joshua Lee with us as well to call the action this evening. This is going to be a fun evening. The sprint cars are back once again for 35 laps around the Huset Speedway, and we have 35 of the fastest drivers that qualified in through last week's qualifying format. If you're new to the series or you're just joining us for the first time, we have 3 qualifying races per week in the World of Outlaws Pro Qualifying Series. One on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, open to all Class A dirt oval licensed drivers. And the top 35 through points will head in to the race on Monday, as we have 35 drivers this week. And if you want to qualify for Fairbury beginning next week, you want to start tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. As we said, we are here at Huset Speedway. We're back with the sprint cars. We left you on December 16th with the sprint cars, with Logan Rumsey taking away the victory at Knoxville. We're here at Huset. We head to Fairbury on January 13th. Eldora on January 20th, back with the sprint cars, and then the season finale on January 27th at the dirt track at Charlotte for 50 laps. So 6 races done, 4 races to go in this schedule. Tonight's format, as we've said, we are qualifying right now. Single car qualifying, going to take the top 8, lock them into the feature. They are going to have an invert, and they avoid the unpredictability of the heat races and the last chance showdowns. 8 laps in the heats, 12 laps in the last chance showdowns. There are no caution periods in those qualifiers. The feature race is 35 green flag laps. Caution laps do not count in that format. So Josh, welcome into the series. This is round number 7. We've got 4 races to go. Championship battle is tight up top. We've got some new faces here. This is going to be a fun race at one of iRacing's newest racetracks.
It is the newest dirt oval track that we're going to go racing on tonight, and I'm happy for the warm welcome and getting to kind of christen the Huset Speedway on iRacing with the World of Outlaws Pro Series in the home stretch of this championship. 2 sprint car rounds left, 2 late model rounds left, and so much to play for, like you mentioned, Tim, in those points. The ever-changing lineups of drivers that we've had every single week since we began back at Volusia in November of 2024. Now we enter 2025, and it's crunch time for those drivers up at the top of the point standings, because there's only 4 rounds left. 4 more points-paying rounds to get what they need to get when it comes to those points totals. And we're going to crown a champion end of this month. It's going to come up a lot sooner than I think a lot of these drivers are expecting.
There is a lot to race for in the next 4 races, and as you see on your screen, those are the qualifying results from time trials. Top 8 make it straight through, and they do earn championship points, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. Evan C., multi-time champion, back behind the wheel and back in P1 with Logan Rumsey, most recent winner there as well. Saw your top 8. Here's your point standings. And Josh, Logan Rumsey, Kendall Tucker have been the story so far. It's a new year. It's a new calendar year. If you're J.D. Brown and the rest of the field, you got to get up on your high horse.
Got to make something happen now. Same thing with Majulis, Avila, Ethan Johnson down there in 7th. Tanner Pettit as well down in 8th. They need to get points on the board now. No more waiting around to get points. They need to do it right now.
And for Pettit and James Eden's biggest surprise, I think, at a qualifying last week, did not qualify. They are not here. We do have 35, though, that are here getting ready to race, and heat race number 1 is set to go momentarily. We'll take the top 3, move them directly into the feature after 8 laps of racing, and with these just over 10-second laps with the sprint car, this is going to be a very quick round, and as we've seen, anything can happen. Matthew Powell will start on the pole. New face for this season on the pole, with Kendall Tucker to the outside from Majulis Speed Shop. Row number 2 sees Braden Carter and Hayden Tolleson in the 327. Ty Showblock in the 17. Stephen Gaines back with us. Good to see the 07. We'll start on the outside of row number 3. Hayden Berry to the inside of row number 4 with JP Scheiderer in the 5 for Elite Performance Industries. On the outside, completing your field is Aiden Bierlein. Bierlein missed the mark in qualifying. He came back a couple of weeks ago, Josh, before the holiday break. Good to see him back. He'll start, though, from position number 9.
How about Matthew Powell? First start and is on the pole in heat race number 1 to begin the night here at Huset Speedway. But Tim, talking about the weather and what we're looking at in weather conditions so far tonight. High winds, low temperatures, slightly low track temp. What's that going to make in for these drivers that are on the track?
We're going to see these drivers work this racetrack in. They had the brief qualifying session. They had 3 minutes of practice to try to work this racetrack in. Going to see that temperature probably stay close to the same, but the wind definitely whipping up around this racetrack and going to play a little bit of havoc, I'm sure, with these sprint cars. The field works its way by, and Josh, next time by, we're going racing with heat race number 1.
You mentioned those very quick laps that we're going to see tonight. 8 laps here in this heat, every lap being just over 10 seconds. It's going to be over in the blink of an eye. Got to be within that top 3 as quickly as you can get there as the field rounds their way through turn number 1. Ready to go racing for heat race number 1 tonight. Entire field behind the official iRacing pace truck. 9 cars ready to go green. With only 3 transfer spots into tonight's feature race. We're happy that you're joining us here on the iRacing Esports Network for round number 7 of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing and the first ever World Championship round at the Huset Speedway. And the night begins with contact for second place. Kendall Tucker makes contact with Braden Carter to begin the heat race. That's immediately going to send a battle for the transfer. It still is in the hands of Carter, but Hayden Tollison now to the bottom looking for third.
Yeah, Carter's able to pick up position number 3 in behind. They're going to go side by side. Tollison's going to try to take it away. They're all fighting behind for a good spot in the last chance showdown. Now to the inside. Carter's got his hands full.
That is the move that Tollison needed to make, and he's going to get that transfer for now. Contact behind. This is all for P5. That's Stephen Gaines, Ty Showblock making contact behind there. But the battle for the transfer goes back to Carter. Another slider into turn 1. This is what we're going to continue to see, Tim. Slider after slider. Contact for the transfer. They hit each other. Tollison around. Carter around. That is the transfer blown up.
And it's going to be Gaines moving into that third place spot. This battle, though, has been side by side, and it goes to show the side by side racing that Husets can provide. And Kendall Tucker picks the pocket of Powell and goes to the lead.
Change for the lead at the same time as the transfer battle just reached its crescendo and completely blew up with the contact on the inside. White flag comes out this time. The battle for the heat race win is no more as they spread their way out. But the white flag is in the air. Final lap and final turn. Kendall Tucker is going to walk away a heat race winner. Powell, Gaines will be in the top 3. Aiden Bierlein ends up coming home P4 and 1 spot short. But Tim, as Kendall Tucker, Matthew Powell, Stephen Gaines all are heading into the feature. Bierlein ends up on the lead lap. Tollison and Carter, the contact for the transfer. I don't know, Tim. I don't know if that's going to be the last time we see contact for the transfer at a very fast and a very tight racetrack like Huset's.
We've seen in heat races and last chance showdowns in this series, and anything can happen, and it usually happens quite quickly. You throw in the fact that Huset's is a tight little bull ring. That's going to continue to add to what we're going to see throughout the evening. And we saw Kendall Tucker pick up that heat race victory. That's pivotal when it comes to points, but not as pivotal as those top 8 that did qualify in through qualifying, especially being second in that championship point standings. You see it there, top 8 in qualifying, 25 all the way back to 17. Your heat race winners are going to pick up 15 points, and they're going to go back down 1 point per position. You need to make the main feature this evening to get those big championship points, and we've seen the top 2 begin to pull away in that championship standings, and there is a lot to fight for. We'll talk about that throughout the evening, but Kendall Tucker picks up that heat race victory, picks up 15 valuable points. With Rumsey already in the top 8, he's going to have to get up on the wheel and try to make something happen in that feature, especially with the momentum that Logan Rumsey has coming in with 2 feature victories, including the most recent one before the holiday break when we went to Knoxville Raceway. As Kendall Tucker, heat race winner number 1, and we're going to get ready to talk to him momentarily as he gets ready to go to the feature. Kendall, we saw a side-by-side groove there. What do we expect in the feature? We're going to expect more like that?
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, track's already pretty slick. Hopefully, admins will throw us a reset here for the warm-up after the consi and can run that thing in. I feel like it'll make the racing hopefully a lot better. Ran a couple races here. When it gets really slick, it sort of just gets really hard to pass. So maybe if we can get a little moisture in this thing later on, it should be like that.
4 to go. What do we got to do to win the championship?
A lot better than we're doing right now. Logan, he's already got the Q points on us, which I guess we made some up there with the heats, but I guess that's a 9-point difference there already. So just got to hope for a little bad luck from him, and hopefully everything can just go my way this A main here. We can claw our way up to the field and hopefully be fighting for the podium.
It's a heat win to start. Go get it in the feature.
All right, thank you.
That's Kendall Tucker, driver of the 00, as heat race number 2 begins to roll off the grid. And we see Ethan Johnson back in the series after missing the last round. We'll start in row number 1 with Mike Augustine to the outside, Cody Nevin, and Blake Majulis from Majulis C Speed Shop in row number 2. Loic Bernier from Quebec to the inside in row number 3 with Tucker Elkins in the 87 to the upside. Connor Dudek in the 7 along with Darcy Walker, first time in the series for the 51 this season. And Joey Lindgren. And Josh, he didn't have the best of races at Knoxville. Gonna start scratch in heat race number 2.
Looks to try and turn it around and get back to Williams Grove or Volusia form and make it back into the feature race. But they're 2x2 again. 1 lap to go again as we get ready for heat race number 2. What we saw for the transfer in heat race number 1, are we going to see that again? You heard Kendall Tucker. Track is getting slick, is getting tougher to pass. How is that going to play into the rest of the night? Heat 2 from Huset is green, and it's an immediate jump from Ethan Johnson. Great move, contact made. This is for 3rd. The 11 machine of Cody Nevin ends up in the soup. He's now middle 3. Slider set by the 74 and Loic Bernier, and he is going to get that spot for P4.
Loic Bernier going to try to move into a transfer position. Top 2 are moving away. Hasn't been the best of seasons for Bernier, trying to put it behind him and get himself into the show here.
And he dives to the bottom in 1 to try and get by Blake Majulis. This is your battle for the transfer. He looks low. Majulis looks to defend. That was a good defense there from the 127 to stay low. He goes back to the top side in 1. Absolutely nothing Bernier can do from the bottom.
Got to try to dig deep here late. You don't want to be in a last chance showdown. As you ride on board with Joey Lindgren, we said he started at the back of the bus, and Josh, he's already up to 5th.
And looking forward at that transfer battle as well, and you can see way up the road, Johnson and Augustine continuing to pull away as well. Contact with the wall from Lindgren though, and he is going to have damage and go all the way down into P9. Lindgren hits the outside retaining wall in turn 1, goes from 5th to 9th, and an almost guaranteed LCS spot.
Continues to be the battle for position number 3 as the 74 of Bernier's got to dig deep. Blake Majulis wants to put Knoxville behind him. They come to the white.
Final lap of heat race number 2, and Ethan Johnson is going to look for the checkered flag. Augustine makes the final move, but can't do it. Johnson with the win. Augustine 2nd. Blake Majulis, even with Bernier trying to put any effort he could to that transfer, it was not enough. Majulis advances to the feature along with Mike Augustine and Ethan Johnson. Bernier, Elkins, Dudek, Walker, Nevin, Lindgren all will advance into the last chance showdown. Tim, it wasn't as exciting for the transfer as it was in heat race number 1, but Majulis earned it and had to make Bernier work for it, and unfortunately Bernier is going to be heading to the last chance showdown 1 spot short.
This track has been providing some incredible racing here this evening, and we continue to see it throughout this season. And there's a lot on the line when it comes to the end of season payouts for this series. Yeah, we're racing for some money this evening, Josh. It's 300, 200, and 100 when it comes to the top 3 podium at the end of this evening. But the top 10 going to get a little bit of cash, including $10,000 to the champion and a $6,000 difference from 1st to 2nd. Series champion will be recognized at the 2025 Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia. They'll pick up the trophy, the bling, all that fun stuff as well. But $10,000 to the champion. A driver that is in the top 10 in the championship points heading into this evening is heat race number 2 winner, Ethan Johnson. Ethan, you missed a couple of weeks ago, trying to get that momentum rebuilt up. How big is this heat win?
Yeah, we definitely needed this after missing Knoxville. That was definitely huge on points impact. So hopefully we can carry this momentum into the future and get a good solid run.
Had some track position. What do you got to do from 10th to bring it up to the front?
Yeah, I think I just got to keep the car clean, stay out of the wrecks, and just be smart with my passes and try to get a good points night here.
Go get him.
Thank you.
That's Ethan Johnson, heat race number 2 winner, as he'll start position number 10, trying to bring it to the front at Huset Speedway. So that's 2 heat races down. We've got 1 more heat race to come at us. We're going to take the top 3 and move them in. And here's a guy that had a good run going at Knoxville, and it kind of went awry at the end. It's Sean English going to start on the pole with Landon Cardoza to the outside in car number 21. Aiden Forster, former champion in the sprint cars here in iRacing, going to roll off in the inside of row number 2 with Chase Stewart to the outside in car number 40. Seth Gregory in the 14 and Matthew Stables in the 46. Good to see Matthew with us for the first time this season. Desmond Busby, a familiar name when it comes to dirt racing here on iRacing, and Christopher Joy in the 32. Complete your field of 8 starters for heat race number 3 as the field will begin to make their way onto the racetrack. And Josh, there's some more big names in this one.
And I think the big names that we've been seeing as we go through heat race number 3 here before getting into our 2 LCSs, we've seen the big names win the heats. I mean, we saw Kendall Tucker win heat race number 1. He has made every single feature race so far this season. Ethan Johnson, out of every single feature race that he has been able to qualify for the main event for, he has also made those feature races. So with this Huset Speedway being brand new, seeing a lot of the drivers that have been fast all year continue to be fast here. But Tim, heat race number 3, Sean English, Landon Cardoza, Aiden Forster, all up at the front. It's been a lot of drama around the transfer. Do we see any bold moves in turn 1 from Chase Stewart and Seth Gregory like we've seen on a couple of these heat starts?
I think we also have to watch that pole sitter as well. He's been able to get the pole shot and get out and get away from the mess that has been behind him, but we have seen the opening laps be a little bit messy. We'll see what happens here as Sean English trying to shake some bad luck from earlier this season, bringing them to green.
That hole shot has been important, and it's still going to go the way of the pole sitter. English leads him into turn 1. Cardoza leads him on the outside. Contact a little bit for the transfer. Yes, it is. That is Chase Stewart that just got airborne down the back straightaway. Aiden Forster pulls away with the transfer, looks for second place as he goes to the inside of Cardoza. Can't make that move work. Side by side for 4th between Stewart and Gregory.
That contact may have helped Aiden Forster more than it hurt him. Moves him into 3rd, moves him a little bit ahead, and now Sean English has his hands full with Landon Cardoza in the 21, but the top 3 broken away a little bit. Chase Stewart has to get up on the wheel to make something happen. Might have to play a little bit of defense here too.
Race leader Sean English loving the top. Landon Cardoza loving the bottom right now. As they almost made contact off of 2. You look on board with Chase Stewart, who is chasing down the transfer spot of Aiden Forster. Already how quickly these heat races go by. We're 3 laps to go, this time by the stripe. Cardoza looks for the lead. Forster all in his rearview mirror, looking to keep Chase Stewart, the Ormond Beach driver, behind.
Wheel to wheel for the lead. Forster trying to reel him in, and Stewart trying to make something happen from position number 4 as Sean English paces this field. Cardoza's got a couple of opportunities, goes to the inside.
That inside line is slickening up, and Cardoza just had no grip and went way up the racetrack. English looking for the heat race number 3 win, and he is going to get it as he rounds turns 3 and 4. Sean English will walk away with heat race number 3 victory tonight from Huset. It's Cardoza and Forster that walks away with the 3 transfer spots heading into the feature race tonight. How about Chase Stewart? He was very, very close and less than a 10th away from Aiden Forster at the line to end heat race number 3. Unfortunately, too little too late. He goes to the last chance showdown with Seth Gregory, Matthew Stables, Desmond Busby, and Christopher Joy. And that, Tim, rounds out our 3 heat races tonight. It's on to the last chance showdown.
And we got 2 last chance showdowns coming up for the drivers that failed to qualify through qualifying and the heat races. If you want to qualify for this series, it's pretty easy. Well, it's easy to get in. You might have to race your way up to get to those top 35 spots. We begin qualifying for next week's race at Fairbury in the late model tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, all 3 nights. Get up on the wheel, open to all Class A dirt oval licensed drivers, and the highest 35 in points will make their way into next week, round number 8 at Fairbury for the late models. But what a show put on by Sean English in that heat race. Picks up the third and final heat race. And Sean, I know it wasn't the race that you wanted a couple of weeks ago when we went to Knoxville. Does this kind of shake that monkey off the back?
Yes, sir. We had a rough time at Knoxville. We had a lot of speed. Once again, I just kind of didn't get the result I wanted by my own fault that time. Feel like we've had a lot of speed this whole season. We just really need to be able to capitalize and put 35 whole laps together.
This place looks like fun. How fun is it to drive?
It's definitely a blast. It's a lot of multi-groove racing. You got to be really quick going from the top to the bottom and keeping up with them lane changes. Ever since iRacing's added this place, it's been a blast.
Great run in the heat race. Good luck in the feature.
Thank you, sir.
That's Sean English, driver of the 960, and we're going to catch up with Evan C. And Evan, this has been a double-edged sword all season long. Congratulations on the pole, but double-edged sword, you're starting 8th.
Yeah, same thing happened to us at Williams Grove. It seems like when we go to tracks that are kind of hard to make moves on, we end up qualifying pole when we don't want to. And we're not really in battle for the championship, so I kind of just wanted to at least start qualify 8th or 7th or something like that and try and go for the win. But we got a fast car and feel pretty good about our race pace. Just got to see what happens, see if we can make some moves and try and get to the front.
How do you see this race playing out? We've seen some action and excitement already in these heat races for the transfer. How do you see the feature playing out over 35 laps?
It seems like most of the time there's 1 or 2 dominant lines here, but whenever you have cars in front of you, it's kind of hard to slide in a guy in front of him, or if there's 2 cars in front of you. It's hard to make moves like that. So you definitely have to have things go your way and let the field spread out some to try and make some moves. But it's definitely a fun track to race on.
Go get him tonight.
Yep, thank you.
That's Evan C. Will roll from position number 8 after setting quick time in a qualifying for round number 7 at Huset Speedway. Now, Josh, we had some exciting news come out over the holidays. The World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is already out on your favorite console, but get ready with Steam because it's coming to PC.
I'll be honest, I've been very, very late on getting to the next-gen console craze. I'm a big PC gamer, so it coming out on Steam on February 5th is my invitation to get racing in World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24. Specifically, the Gold Edition is going to come out on Steam February 5th. You can learn more at worldofoutlaws.game.com. But I'm excited to finally dig my teeth into the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing game. It has been so exciting to watch just the development over the last couple of years, and specifically with iRacing working in the console space. And now we get it in the Steam space, and we get to play it on our PCs as well.
It's already on my Steam wish list. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the Gold Edition as well when it comes out on Steam on February 5th. So be sure that it's on your wish list as well. And if you have a console, be sure to get it Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PS5. It's going to be ready. It's going to be quick here as well because we're getting ready for Last Chance Showdowns here at Huset's for round number 7. The field is already beginning to roll for this LCS. We are going to take the top 2, and Aiden Bierlein and Chase Stewart will start in those transfer positions, but Tucker Elkins and Caden Barry, row number 2, Matthew Stables and Darcy Walker in row number 3. Braden Carter and Christopher Joy will complete your field, 8 cars. We've got 12 quick laps, and we're going to have 2 really happy drivers because they're going to tag on at the back. Everybody else is going to the house early.
6 drivers will wonder what if I would have made the feature, and 2 drivers are going to wonder what if I win this feature that they're about to qualify for. But back ready for 12 more laps. Last Chance Showdown number 1. Aiden Bierlein, Chase Stewart at the top. Tucker Elkins, Caden Barry will fight from row 2. And everybody back from there is going to need to make some passes happen early. We have seen passing be a bit of a premium with the track slickening off, with it gaining rubber. What will we see through these 4-lap longer Last Chance Showdowns? Green flag is in the air. Bierlein gets the whole shot again, and proving why the pole has been so important tonight. Contact for 3rd, and up into the wall goes Tucker Elkins.
That's a tough break for Elkins, but we've seen that sense of urgency in these Last Chance qualifiers before. We saw it with the heat races earlier tonight. you've got to go if you want a chance. Stables in that 46. Going to try to get up here, but here comes the 12 of Barry.
Side by side now, almost for second and almost for the lead. This is the top three. You can throw a blanket over them right now, but for the lead, it's outside Chase Stewart, inside Aiden Beerline. That red number 13 is going to have to let go of the 40 and Chase Stewart, the black sprint car up on the top line, and Stewart goes to the race lead on lap 4.
Now can Barry get up on the wheel, make something happen? Aiden Beerline has been here before in World Championship races. Barry, a newer face to this series, goes to the inside looking for the transfer.
You talk about experience. Aiden Beerline has a ton of it. Caden Barry, in his 2 qualifications for main events this year, he did not qualify for Volusia and did not start Weed Sport. He's looking for his first feature race appearance tonight. He goes back up to the cushion. Beerline running on the inside where he looks most comfortable. Now he goes up to the cushion. They swap spots in 3 and 4. Still Beerline in control of the transfer.
If something happens here, Matthew Stables is in a prime position. Barry trying to set it up, goes back down to the inside, can't make the move work off at turn number 4. Continues to be Beerline, and now Beerline is in third, looking to make something happen.
That was a slider from Barry that went perfect. Another slider from Beerline that also went perfect. He gets the transfer spot back. Barry back to the bottom. 4 laps to go. Make it 3 to go as Beerline looks back to the bottom. Slight contact to the wall for Barry, puts him to third again.
Oh, by the way, Carter's in fourth. If something happens, somebody makes a mistake here, it's going to be Carter picking up the pieces. Beerline again to the inside. Contact.
They make contact again into 3. They're still safe. They did not wreck. Barry takes the transfer. White flag is in the air. What can Beerline do? All eyes are on this transfer. Chase Stewart's going to win the last chance showdown, the first of the night. Through the final 2 corners, Barry is going to grab the final transfer. Beerline is going home.
Man, that's a heartbreak for Aiden Beerline. Beerline in third, and I know he hasn't had the season that he's wanted to. Josh trying to qualify through these races, but he's going to finish third. Chase Stewart, though, great effort.
The contact from Elkins into the wall ends him 11 laps down, but Stewart pulled away when he needed to the most. Barry with the hard knock fight for the transfer ends up in second. Beerline, Carter, Stables, Walker, and Joy join Elkins in heading home tonight out of the first last chance showdown. Tim, this is not the only last chance showdown. We've got 2 more feature race spots are left, and we've got 9 drivers taken to the grid ready to go.
Final last chance showdown of the evening to make your way into round number 7 here at Huset. And Loic Bernier going to start on the pole, was quick in his heat race, just was on the wrong side of the inch. We'll try it again in this last chance showdown. Hayden Tolleson to the outside in 327, going to roll off in position number 2. Seth Gregory and Connor Dudek comprise row number 2. JP Scheiderer in row number 3 alongside Desmond Busby in the 82. Busby wasn't able to make any inroads in his heat race. Cody Nevin in car number 11 had some issues in his heat race. Going to roll off on the inside of row number 4 with Ty Schoblock to the outside. And Joey Lindgren in car number 16, another driver that was making his way through the pack, Josh, but had some issues. Going to start at the tail of this one, but he had no problem getting through in his heat race. The problem is we're only taking 2 here.
Just 2 more spots left in tonight's feature race, and who are those last 2 spots going to go to? And what have we seen so far tonight, Tim? Throughout the heats, it was a lot of battles around those transfers. There was a lot of contact as well. We saw that contact in heat race number 1 for the transfer spot, and then all the way through to the last LCS, contact again for the transfer spot. It seems like this track and where it's at in the track state right now, with it losing a good bit of grip, drivers searching for moisture wherever they can. Seems like it's promoting some tight racing, promoting a little bit of contact. Drivers got to be careful out there.
The only safe place to be, or at least where we've seen the safe place to be, is out in front. We saw Aiden Beerline there lose that track position over 12 laps. Loic Bernier, the driver from Victoriaville, Quebec, Canada, trying to do the same thing, or at least get that track position. If you want all the information on this series, though, everything from championship standings to points to how to qualify for these races, iRacing.com/WOO-Pro-Series. Everything that you need to learn about who is where and who is doing what is there at iRacing.com/WOO-Pro-Series. I just saw the message come across our desk, Josh. It looks like we are going to have a complete rework for the feature.
That is going to be interesting as we go through into the feature, as well as a 5-minute warm-up ahead of that feature race as well. So, last chance showdown, number 2. 2 spots remaining in the feature. Last time we're going to see this track state tonight, at least for now. What are we going to see out of these drivers up at the front? Bernier looks for the green flag in the second LCS of the night, and he again is going to get the hole shot to the same spot for the pole sitters all night long. He looks to try and pull away, side by side almost for 4th, side by side almost for the transfer as well. Seth Gregory's on that middle line, inside send from Polison trying to get the transfer, couldn't do it first time by.
We've seen the aggression and the sense of urgency off of every single start so far this evening. We haven't seen it as of yet, but Gregory, his hands are full. Here comes Tolleson and Dudek looking for second.
Gregory still up top, Tolleson still down low. That's Dudek now trying to work the cushion as well, side by side now for the transfer. They send it back into turn number 1, and it's still Tolleson on the inside. Loving the inside line right now is that 327, but it doesn't seem like you can get any rotation down there. Seems like the cushion is the place to be.
Leader has pulled away, but we're seeing some fantastic side-by-side racing. In behind is Dudek. Will take position number 3, and you ride on board with the Pennsylvania driver. Needs one more to move ahead and get into the feature. Gregory trying to hold on.
This is the catch-22, though. He's fast on the cushion, but if he's running the same line as Gregory, he's not going to be able to make any passes work. But Dudek, an almost perfect slider, but contact behind. Tolleson ends up in the inside wall. Seth Gregory ends up with contact as well. I think Dudek might have gotten a little bit close on that slider, but nonetheless, he takes over the transfer, and it's a Hornet's Nest back from 3rd.
Gregory's able to take position number 4 out of this behind contact. They're up and over. It's outside of a transfer position. Cody Nevin's going to move into position number 3, but he may run out of time here.
Scheiderer and Showblock were the 2 that were going up and over in turn 3, it looks like, for P7. So that will keep Bernier in the lead, keep Dudek in second. Those are your 2 transfer spots by a good solid margin. It's Cody Nevin, Joey Lindgren now in a battle. This is the battle we're watching right now for 3rd. The yellow number 16 on the inside sends a slider on the red number 11 of Nevin. And contact to the outside wall, contact with each other as they go back to 3. White flag in the air.
Final lap coming at us, and it's Loic Bernier. They're wrecking in and behind. The top 2 are clean and clear out of this one. And Loic Bernier from Victoriaville, Quebec, Canada, punches his ticket into the feature this evening. Bernier clean and clear through 12 laps, and Connor Dudek going to come home in position number 2. Behind them, Desmond Busby is going to pick up position number 3, Josh. Not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things, not going to make the show, but that was wild outside of those top 2 transfer positions.
Bernier and Dudek ended up missing most of the drama, but everybody back from there, Busby, Gregory, Nevin, Lindgren, Scheiderer, Showblock, and Tolleson all got their own fair share of some drama at the tail end of that last chance showdown. But through 3 heat races, 2 last chance showdowns, we have a full field of drivers for tonight's feature race, and the action is just getting started tonight from Huset. We'll step aside for a moment and thank our sponsors here on the iRacing Esports Network. You're tuning in to the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing.
is available now.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Huset Speedway. Qualifying has been completed for round number 7 of the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing. Just a 35-lap feature remaining, and we will have caution periods in this one. Only green flag laps will count towards that 35-lap total this evening. This racetrack has given us some action, some excitement. We have seen a lot of sense of urgency, a lot of aggressive moves, but we've also seen track position play out very key when it comes to these races. We'll see how this 35-lap feature begins to pace itself at Huset. It's the newest piece of iRacing content. It's the newest dirt track on iRacing, located in Brandon, South Dakota. Track opened in 1954 and home of the Huset's High Bank Nationals. And Josh, this place has put on quite the show. I got to rip some laps on release day in the mini stock. I know you've got to rip some laps here. This place is a ball, not only for us to watch this evening, but also in the sim.
Whether you're in a late model, whether you're in a sprint car, the 305, 360, 410, super limited, pro, whatever, this track is fun. Running the cushion here is also crucial. Like we've seen so far tonight, you can go all the way down to the bottom, you can go all the way up to the top, and it seems like just about every lane works here at Huset. And that's what we're seeing right now, Tim, is these drivers go around for practice. The track state got reset heading into the warm-up. There's about a minute remaining left in warm-up, and these drivers are getting the track worked in as we get ready for the 35-lap feature race.
We saw some great racing earlier. We saw some excitement behind the top 2 for the most part, or top 3, whatever the transfer was. We saw some of this happen. That's the 12 of Barry going around. Joey Lindgren had to get up on the wheel and just missed it after all what happened in his last chance showdown. There's Aiden Forster getting that little bump and making their way into the feature, former sprint car champion here on the iRacing Pro Series. And some great action. We've seen the cushion, everybody up running the top near the end, but with this racetrack now being worked in, Josh, this is going to be a new sort of, you know, what we're going to see in the early laps, and then maybe what we saw near the end of the last chance showdown when the racetrack comes in. We're going to see a lot of action there too.
And as we take a look at these points heading into tonight's feature race, it never becomes more important to get those points than right now for Kendall Tucker. Remember, he won heat race number 1 tonight. He looks for a feature race win that could crucially help him as well. The 41er Rumsey coming off of a feature race win at Knoxville before the holiday break. He's also looking to try and extend that points lead. There's a lot to play for tonight in tonight's feature race.
Crucial for the top 2 with only 3 races to go after this evening, but crucial for the top 10 as there's a little bit of cash to be played out. Evan C. trying to move in to the top 10 with 2 drivers and Tanner Pettit and James Edens not here this evening. But who is here is the starting lineup. And after a top 8 invert, winner already this season, J.D. Brown going to start on the pin with Tyler Schell to the outside, former champion in car number 85. Ryan Avila, the driver from Lemoore, California, to the inside with Bradley Cox in the 45. Hasn't been the best of seasons for Bradley. Good to see him qualify in on the outside of row number 2. Connor News won a race this season so far. He'll start from position number 5 with Dylan Yeager with Julia C. Speed Shop in row number 3. Logan Rumsey, your point leader, qualified second this evening, but he's got to dig from position number 7 after the invert with Evan C., your quick qualifier in row number 4. Kendall Tucker and Ethan Johnson, row number 5, with Sean English and Matthew Powell, row number 6. Mike Augustine for Majulisi, speed shot to the inside. To the outside, Landon Cardoza, great run in the heat race, will start in 14th. Stephen Gaines in the 07. To the outside, Blake Majulis in the 127. Aiden Forster and Chase Stewart will dig from position number 18. Loic Bernier in the 74. Caden Berry in the 12. And completing your field, it's car number 7 of Connor Dudek. That is your 21-car starting field for round number 7 at Huset's, as we get ready to see who will win the first Pro Series race for iRacing for the World of Outlaws here at this racetrack.
This one is going to be fun, Tim. And as we look at the weather again, wind speed still about the same. Air temp came up a little bit, but partly cloudy skies, and track temp reduced dramatically from the top of the 90s to 72 degrees. A cool track temp as we get ready for the feature race.
They had the opportunity to work it in a little bit during the warm-up session, and now we will see what it does over 35 quick laps around the racetrack. You see it there. You see what they were able to do. And if you want to get your iRacing career started, be sure to head to iRacing.com. Sign up, and whatever your fancy is when it comes to motorsports, got it here on iRacing. Dirt, asphalt, oval, road, off-road, whatever you want, you can find it here at iRacing.com. Brand new year, a lot of seasons kicking off as well. You're going to want to hop on and do some racing. Field rolls off by our camera shot in turn number 2. We're getting ready to see who will take round number 7.
This is a crucial race off of the holiday break. Who can get the momentum going into the 2025 calendar year going first? Evan C., who had the fastest time in qualifying, he sat on the pole with the quick time. Top 8 invert, though, puts him down into P8 and puts JD Brown to the top spot. We've seen all night long the whole shot from the pole sitter be the most important thing in every heat, in every LCS. Is that going to prove to be the same here in the feature? For the first time at the World Championship level in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing, it's feature time at Huset. Green flags in the air. We're racing at the brand new Huset Speedway, and down into turn 1, the 14 of JD Brown gets the early lead. Into second goes Tyler Shell. Ryan Avila fighting middle 3 wide now as the Hornets Nest gets through turn number 4.
Top 8 haven't seen the racetrack in race conditions this evening. Tyler Shell trying to roll the top and try to take it to the lead. He may lose second, though. Ryan Avila down on the bottom side in that blue and black, number 49, trying to pick up the runner-up spot.
A yellow flag gonna fly for the first time tonight. Blake Majul is slow on the apron at turn 1, and there is a stopped number 1 of Matthew Powell up by the outside wall. That leads us to caution flag number 1. Now remember, caution laps are not counting here in the feature. We will see yellow flags, but we will have the lap count be frozen until we go back to green. Not expecting too long of a yellow flag here, but was honestly, Tim, expecting a yellow flag off the jump there. Everybody's so close together, and it looks like just some slight contact mid-pack ends up bringing out the first yellow flag.
And you know what? There's a lot going on here. If you take a look at the replay, you're going to see Majulis go the inside free, and you're going to see Powell on the outside. That's Augustine behind the 1. There's the contact. Majulis also comes up the racetrack kind of at the same time. There's a lot going on there between those two, but nevertheless, the 1 of Powell, the 127 of Majulis are going to get the worst of this, and their nights are, if they're not done, they're pretty well done near the back of this field, as we will re-rack them and restack them. We'll come back to green with 3 laps completed. JD Brown is kind of in one of those spots, Josh, where he needs a good night tonight. He sits 3rd in the championship standings. We saw the live points coming in. He's got a gap to make up on those top 2. You kind of have to control your own destiny at this point. You've got some ground to make up if you're Rumsey and Tucker. So if you're JD Brown, out in front, got to do what you got to do here to A, win this thing, pick up your 2nd win of the season, and B, try to get closer to this championship.
made every single feature race so far this season. Half of them finished in the top 10, half of them finished outside of the top 10. What can JD Brown do, as we still got a long way to go here in the feature? We're back on our way from Huset, single file restart as they dive their way back into turn number 1. No pressure for the race lead from JD Brown yet. Tyler Shell in second place has pressure from Avila on the inside, but they're not even going to be side by side by the time they get to turn 1.
Took Avila those couple of laps to get down to the bottom side of Tyler Shell. We'll see what happens on this run, albeit that first run was only 3 laps in length. Here comes Avila back down to the inside. They've got Yeager in behind. Dylan Yeager, great run early in the 48. Going to try to poke that nose down the inside.
As they fight their way back through turn 1, Brown looks in his rearview mirror and sees almost nothing. He's pulled away to the tune of about a half second. That's Tyler Shell trying to get from second place as we look at a battle further back. 45 of Bradley Cox on that inside line, looks to the inside of Evan C. in the number 33. Another driver that has had consistent finishes so far this season, Tim, is Evan C. Looking for more consistency here.
When he's made the races, he has been a threat when it comes down to the checkered flag. Currently sitting in 6th, trying to make up a little bit of that ground that he lost via the invert, but he's got some tough passes to make if he needs to get up here, including Logan Rumsey in the 41 as you ride on board with Connor New. Winner earlier this season, another one of those new faces that we've seen in victory lane, but he's got to get up on the wheel here to try to make something happen if he wants to park it this evening.
Goes back to the bottom line, works his way back to the middle now as everybody finds where the moisture is at. Remember, we did have a track reset before the warm-up, but everything got worked in, and a yellow flag back out again. Sean English slow in turn 4. Yellow flag out again, and more contact up by the cushion brings us to yellow flag number 2. But already, Tim, you mentioned how quick these laps are. We're almost halfway done with this feature race already.
It is a very quick pace to this one, and JD Brown and Tyler Shell and Ryan Avila have had that key track position that we saw in the heat races and the last chance showdowns. As you see the replay here to see what brought out the yellow flag, that's Sean English up there in the 960, kind of in the middle of the pack. Mike Augustine in there as well, and it looks like English is going to go for a ride.
Another sprint car also catching some air there in turn 4. Brings us out another yellow flag, but nonetheless, JD Brown still holds the lead, and a pretty commanding one as well. All night long, Tim. Track position, track position, track position. We've been broken records kind of talking about it, but it's been the most important thing that we have seen tonight. Leader gets the whole shot into turn 1. They can very easily say goodbye to everybody else behind them if they're not careful.
1, 2, 3 to start this race. Is 1, 2, 3 right now on the racetrack through 12 laps. Yeah, it is still early. We're going to complete 12 when we come back across the stripe. And you see there's not really a huge hard charger so far, even in the middle of the pack where that hornet's nest has been, where that sense of urgency has been. A couple of drivers picking up a couple of positions. Chase Stewart's up 3, but there's still plenty of laps to get this done.
iRacing pace truck back to the apron, back to the pit lane. iRacing green flag back in the hands of Barney the Flagman. We're back underway in the feature race at Huset. On to lap number 13 this next time by. And JD Brown still leads the way. Almost contact made for second. Avila, I think, is tired of sitting bottom step of the podium. He looks for second place on the inside, but the cushion is too powerful in the hands of Tyler Shell.
Ryan Avila digging on the inside, though. First time on a restart that we've seen this, and he's looking for the lead, too, on JD Brown. At least took a sniff of it down into turn number 3 and 4. Tyler Shell knows he's got to get to Stephens. Those top 3 that did start 1, 2, 3. This might change here, Josh.
Later we get into the feature, you're going to start to see those defensive moves starting to come out. We're starting to see that from Tyler Shell. You mentioned it, Tim. Top 3 unchanged to everybody else. A lot of green on our positions. Gaines Tower. Connor New lost a couple of spots, but everybody else, including Dylan Yeager, who we're riding on board with now, has gained some spots tonight. Hamilton Township, number 48, looks to gain from P4. Everybody now up on the cushion as they work their way through 4 and pass halfway in the feature.
Yeager's a veteran in this series, trying to get a top 5 effort in the championship standings, but wants to pick up a couple of points here and make it a little bit closer as Avila and Shell just ahead of Yeager, and JD Brown beginning to step away a little bit here as we cross over to the second half.
17 to go, 16 to go at the stripe. Brown is pulled away now to 0.7 of a second. It's going to be hard pressed to try and pass that number 14 up at the front, especially with the amount of momentum that he's got up on the cushion. Somebody's going to need to make the inside line work. They're going to need to make it work fast. Almost making contact now for second as Shell goes right down to the bottom to try and protect on Avila. Battle for second, about as exciting as the battle for fifth as C, Rumsey, and Tucker battle along.
Little contact in that battle for position number 2, and here comes Dylan Yeager ripping the top, trying to pick up 2 for 1 in behind. They are still getting racy. The battle outside the top 10 has been like this all race long, side by side, and somebody's got to give an inch here at some point.
Giving an inch is sometimes what you need to do in these open wheel sprint cars. Do these professionals want to do it? Not exactly. Yellow flag back in the air. Once again, this is yellow flag number 3, and with 13 to go, collective exhale. Everybody slows back down behind the iRacing pace truck, and Tim, we're gonna rack them up again for another single file restart.
And Tyler Shell and Ryan Avila are the caution from position number 2. Avila goes down to the inside where he's been. Shell's been trying to get to the inside, and 2 cars, same piece of real estate, come together and bring out the yellow flag for the 3rd time in this event. But we saw Tyler Shell beginning to search a little bit. He was glued to that outside for the first 15 laps or so of this race. Ryan Avila making the inroads on the inside on the berm. Makes that move, and as they pace right now, Josh, it looks like Avila's getting his spot back. Dylan Yeager's going to line up in position number 3. That's going to change a little bit up in front, even though Avila now has some position to try to make something happen on your leader, JD Brown.
Tim, I don't know about you, but I got some deja vu when I saw that contact between Shell and Avila. It looked almost exactly like the contact for the transfer that we saw in heat race number 1 earlier today. One driver running the apron, basically running the cushion of the apron where there's a raised part on the apron of the racetrack, running that, and then the defense to try and pinch him down there and pinching him a little bit too tight, making contact. I mean, we've seen that now twice prominently tonight. Will we see it again with 12 to go when we cross the stripe? Green flag back in the air, and just like that, we enter the twilight zone of this race, and JD Brown hits the wall from the lead, now to try to fight back. Avila takes the lead, Yeager to the outside, and JD Brown is starting to see red now as he goes to 3rd.
Ryan Avila has the advantage, and Dylan Yeager up against the boards, gets into the wall a little bit in turn number 2. Evan C's going to try to come from position number 8 to pick up this win, and what was JD Brown's victory, now he's got to earn it.
JD Brown hit the apron in turn 4, trying to get the whole shot. That sent him up the racetrack of the front straightaway and sent him back. Now it might send him packing as he is side by side for 3rd with Evan C. Ryan Avila takes the lead. Dylan Yeager fights for 2nd.
And Yeager goes to the bottom side. He was on the upside. He may lose it. Evan C goes to the outside, looking for position number 2, and Ryan Avila's in the catbird seat.
Avila's best finish this season, 3rd at Lincoln. He's used to these fast and short racetracks. Does he get his first World of Outlaws Pro Series win of the season right here tonight at the Huset Speedway? Evan C in 2nd place, now trying to send anything he can up to the race lead. We've talked about Evan C and his experience in this series. He's winless so far this season. Looks for race win number 1 also from 2nd.
Ryan Avila is going to come to 5 to go first. Finished tied for the Sprint Car Championship last season and lost it on a tiebreaker. Wants to get a win here and set his 2025 off to a roaring start, but he's got to hold off Evan C. C is coming.
Dylan Yeager from 3rd as well. He's winless so far this season. Best finish of 7th at Lincoln. He's looking for a best finish from 3rd, but I'm willing to bet he wants to get the win with 3 laps to go and 6/10 to play with. It looks like it might be too little too late, Tim. 2 laps to go at the line, and Ryan Avila is trying to say goodnight.
Your point leader, Rumsey, runs in 4th behind these top 3. It's going to be a battle for 2nd. Josh as Yeager is down to the berm trying to get C, but Ryan Avila is going to see the white flag first.
White flag one more time around the Huset Speedway for Ryan Avila. Best finish this season, a third at Lincoln. He looks for feature race win number 1 this season. The 49 wins it at Huset for the first time in series history. Ryan Avila is victorious in round 7.
Avila went all season last year without a victory, tied for the championship. It's not a championship, Josh, but I know that win has been coming and coming for a while. Ryan Avila gonna park it in victory lane, historic win in the World of Outlaws Pro Series.
If he didn't miss qualifying for our first main event of the season at Volusia, I can only wonder where he'd be in the points right now, because this win at Huset's after a 2nd place as well at Knoxville last week, a 3rd place at Lincoln. Unbelievable stuff. And Tim, here's the mistake from JD Brown. This is what sent him from the lead to 5th at the finish. Watch this restart, Tim. He went all the way to the bottom, hit the apron, and went up the track, almost into the outside wall of the front straightaway. A crucial mistake.
We mentioned JD Brown controlling his own destiny, and he just did it right there. Not the way that JD Brown wanted to control his own destiny, but that is the way the race is won, and eventually the race is lost. Ryan Avila picks up the win.
A historic night. For the first time in series history, we go racing at Huset Speedway. And Ryan Avila can say he is the first ever Huset Speedway winner. Evan C., Dylan Yeager, Logan Rumsey, JD Brown, the top 5. Kendall Tucker, Ethan Johnson, Connor News, Stephen Gaines, Landon Cardoza. Rounding out your top 10, Aiden Forster, Mike Augustine, Caden Berry, Connor Dudek, Chase Stewart through to the top 15. Sean English, Loic Bernier, Blake Majulis finishes in 18th, and a good points night for him. Tyler Shell, Bradley Cox rounding out your top 20. Rounding out your field, Matthew Powell. 21 drivers took the green flag in the feature, Tim. 1 walked away victorious, and it is Ryan Avila for the first time ever at the Huset Speedway.
Ryan Avila going to victory lane, and Ryan, I know after last season, tied for the championship, didn't pick up that win. How big is this?
It's amazing. I apologize to Tyler for that was all on me. In my head, I felt like he was gonna slide up just a little bit more, and I had the run, so I went with it. But yeah, I apologize to him. Apologize to Yeager for coming up in front of him, but felt like we were one of the better cars there. Super tough track, one of my favorite tracks now, and finally picked up the win. So, yeah.
Restart with JD Brown. He makes that mistake in front of you. What was going through your mind when you saw that?
I thought I hit him, to be honest. I thought my right front was broke. I went to the corner. I was just going straight ahead. So, no, that honestly helped me out. I think JD was one of the better cars there, too. He showed it all week. Kind of figured that's who I was going to be racing this entire race. Like I said, Shell would have definitely been a good mix at the end there. Kind of just had a little bit of an incident with him. But, no, I just got to thank Tanner. Tanner Pettit, Jimmy P. Mac Tools, 1425 Photography, and Ethan Johnson over at Free Speed. That's just, honestly, dream come true. First win, and I've been doing it for 3 years now. So, yeah.
Not a bad way to kick off 2025. We still got 3 to go, though. What's the outlook going forward here in the next 3?
Super nervous for tomorrow and the next 3 days. I'm not very confident in the late model at Fairbury, so even if it doesn't go my way tomorrow in the qualifier, I'm looking forward to Eldora. We've always had speed there. Yeah, just trying to make these last 3 shows and finish good in points. Think I'm 5th or 6th now, so yeah, started off the season a little slow, a couple of finishes on the podium, so yeah, just super glad I got this win and looking forward to next week.
Congratulations, go celebrate.
Thank you.
That's Ryan Avila, your winner at Huset's in round number 7. Evan C. comes home in position number 2. And Evan, it's not a win that you wanted, but you still had to dig from position number 8 overall. A great night, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I really didn't expect to make it up that far. Just we had some great pace in the feature there, and along with my teammate Dylan, both picked our way up to the front and missed a couple wrecks there, and it was rolling really good. Just I know what we needed at the end was kind of just matching pace with Brian there and kind of trading lap times after got into the wall trying to cushion out in 1 and 2 that one lap and let him get away. But we'll definitely take that from 8th to 2nd. I wish we could have qualified 8th and started pole, I think we would have been able to win it pretty easily with our pace. But that's just how it goes. We're trying not qualify quite as good the last 3 races and see if we can start up front one of these.
We start qualifying for Fairbury this week. Obviously, late models has been your strength the last couple of seasons with us. What's the outlook going forward to Fairbury?
Yeah, I mean, haven't really ran a race there in late models in a while, but now I'm sure last time late models were there, it raced pretty good. So we'll see. Short track, late models qualifiers, only 40 laps. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of give and not a whole lot of take at that track, but we're looking forward to it to get back into the late models.
Congratulations on second. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
That's Evan C. coming home with position number 2, and our third place finisher this evening is Dylan Yeager. You were up on the wheel throughout this one, finishing in position number 3. What else did you need there at the end to try to get a little bit closer to the front?
Oh hell, I'm always up on the wheel. I don't know. I mean, I had some really good pace there. I was just kind of trying to chill for a while because they were racing really hard for the lead and find the right time to make a move on them. And I think it was lap 27. I had a really big run on them going down the back stretch and just ran into the back of them and got stuck on the bottom. And Evan got around me, but it's just you look back at it now and it's like, man, I really wish I lifted a little bit and cut down in 3 and 4 and maybe threw a slider on them. But it is what it is. I've been the shitter of the year, running 10th every week. So it feels good to be up here, competing for wins again.
Well, I was going to ask you, this is different than what we've seen the last couple of seasons because you've been involved with the Pro Series for a few years now, back and forth between late model and sprint car. This is the best finish of the season, but we head back to the late model next week. So what's the outlook, knowing that you don't really have a whole lot of time to relish this before we go to Fairbury?
I mean, the outlook is just to do the same thing. Late models are what I'm good in and what I race for the most part. So we're just going to go out there in Fairbury and try and beat the guys that I'm close to in points and see if I can, bring home a 3rd or 4th place finish this year. Just be consistent pretty much to end the year, make all the races.
Blake didn't have a great night, so does that help you too?
It does. I hate to see it from his part because, he's had a really good season and the last 2 weeks it's really sucked for him not having good runs. But in my case, it definitely helps.
Congratulations on tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That's Dylan Yeager coming home with position number 3. Josh, one of those drivers that's been involved in this series for a while, and there are the points. Dylan Yeager moves to 4th. Ryan Avila moves to 5th. Majulis had a bad race this evening. Tanner Pettit did not make the show. James Edens falls to 12th. He did not make this evening. Stephen Gaines knocking on the door of a top 10 effort in the championship points as Evan C. moves in to the top 10. Lots of moving, lots of shaking. This series has been, it's been hard to qualify for some of these drivers, and even a guy like James Edens, who's been involved in this series since day number 1, missed the show this evening.
And there's a couple of drivers there that if they miss the show going into one of these last 3 rounds, they will be in trouble. We have a very, very close gap at the top of the standings. But Tim, qualifying for Fairbury American Legion Speedway and the World of Outlaws Super Late Models next week begins tomorrow night. Anybody with a proper license class on the iRacing service in Dirt Oval can qualify for our main event next Monday night. Qualifying races tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, ahead of another main event on January the 13th, next Monday night, right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Tim, Fairbury's going to be exciting. Another short track, and oh, by the way, we're going to bring the big, heavy, very, very fast super late models.
When we just talked to Evan, he said the same thing. It hasn't been here in a little while, but Fairbury does race really well. So something we haven't seen in a couple of seasons in this series, but I'm sure is going to put on a great show, just like Huset did this evening. What a race.
I'm excited to see what we're going to see with 3 rounds remaining in the series, Tim. Huset's was exciting, and we still got a long way to go.
Absolutely. As we head out to Fairbury next week, we conclude round number 7. That's going to do it for us here this evening. So on behalf of Josh Lee and our entire iRacing production staff, my name is Tim Terry. We will see you next week when we say let's go racing. Until then, keep the hammer down and we'll see you at the track.